Hi everybody, it's Mr. D at In the Middle with Mr. D1 at blogspot.com with some special teaching tips for the sight singing example of Lesson 23, Day 1 of my sight singing program S Cubed, available on Teachers Pay Teachers at Music in the Middle with Mr. D. So this is a really difficult sight singing example. It has fa's and re's and te's in the skips. And so we want to make sure we set them up for success. That's the whole key of S Cubed. And we have to take this moment to teach them how to deal with this the difficulties during the actual chaos period. So they don't just keep going back to the beginning and singing it over and singing it wrong every time. So that's why you've already had your discussion, by the way, about the flies and the butterflies and how to basically compare that to pitch and finding pitch and holding on to pitch. And that's the whole essence of that. So after that discussion, I gave my students the paper with some of the tools, and there are many others. You can certainly talk about others or add to those tools. Things like, just simply using your hands and solfege and things. That's a tool that I didn't list, but you can add on to that or in any way you think is helpful to the students. But I wanted my students to have that in their possession so that they could remember, okay, all right, I'm not getting this correct, and I have to be smart enough to recognize I'm not getting this correct, and then I have to know how to solve it, and that's our job as teachers, to help them. So today is a great day to teach it. So you do your normal process. They go through it. You're going to hear mistakes on re, you're going to hear mistakes on the fa and the ti. And when you hear them, after they had a minute to practice and they're struggling probably a little bit, then you stop and you tell them, this is what you should do next. First of all, ask where they had difficulties, and they're going to tell you because you want them to know. And then once they tell you where their difficulties are, which are going to be the fa's and re's and the ti's, you're going to say, this is how I would do this measure. For example, if it goes fa to re, starting at the do, re, mi, fa, have them go fa, mi, re, fa, re, fa, re, fa, re, and drill it. That's what they need to do. And encourage them to use the scale. That's the simplest of all the tools. The other tools are tools that are more advanced in nature. The re, fa, la, the do, mi, sol arpeggios, very difficult for beginners. But some of them can use them, but most of them need to be using the scales, just the way I just showed, and they can do that for every single interval. We want them not to constantly go back and just repeat the same mistake. They've got to recognize that they've made the error, being a smart musician, and then they've got to hold on to the pitch, find it, and then hold on to it. So those are some things that are going to help you get through it, but I would actually stop, let them practice it, the fa, re, for example, and then let them sing in their own practice world for another minute, and then if they are missing some other intervals, come back, show them again. This is what you should do at this moment if you're missing the re and the ti. Do, re, do, ti, re, ti, and teach them how to drill it so that they can be more successful at accomplishing those pitches. Recognizing the mistake, being smart. The kids like to be smart, so if we tell them to be smart musicians, they're going to strive for that. And then to actually put it into practice, take them through the process. Then over the next couple of weeks, you'll practice that process a little bit, but mostly you're going to start weaning off of it, and they just have to know. I tell my students to use the tool that works best for them. It's their decision, so that they become independent sight singers. That's the goal. So those are my extra tips for the sight singing example. I hope it works for you. Have a great day.